Hello, welcome along to another edition of Isolation Interviews for Hospital Radio Reading and for my YouTube channel. I'm super excited because my guest today, this isn't her first time on the show. She's back for a third appearance. What an icon, what a lovely lady she is. Sally-Anne Upton, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just clicking this okay because you're recording. I'm good. Thank you for the invite back. She's back.
I was going to say, we had to get you back on. You're such a delight to speak to, and I got so much lovely feedback from people after we spoke last time. Obviously, not long, or at the point we were last speaking, it was about a month since you'd wrapped up on Neighbours. So there was a lot that we couldn't really talk about. Obviously, it was such a lovely way to wrap up that show. But I mean, just take us back to, the sort of the final scenes that you got to do as part of Irene Rising. What was that like? Because you were both yourself and Robin were just so excited about the comedy aspect of that. I mean, how was that to do?
Oh, it was lovely because we're all there together on set, but it also was tainted with a sadness because we knew what we were heading to. So it was lovely because we just feel like we've just got our training wheels on with this characters and with Irene Rising and then the show's being pulled. So it had both sides of it, but we were so joyous. And when we got our scripts and we saw the fact that Moira and Vera were at each other's throats and Moira was going to tip water over, like seriously, and the scene in the clay doing the pottery was just hysterical. Like you could even take that so far over the top, but we didn't. And also we were working with Alan and Jackie as well, and it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful tie-up. And then I knew that I was in the end scenes coming up, but we all knew that that was the last day for everybody else. So Jason and Andrew came on and did a beautiful speech. And he really did mean it. And yeah, so it was a mixed bag, to be fair, but so happy we got to do it.
I mean,
Great
obvi-
way.
I
It was
mean,
a great way.
I was gonna say, I mean, yourself and Robin clearly so close and such good friends that you must have loved getting to do those scenes together, the real comedy and getting to kind of bounce off each other must have been so much fun.
It is. And like I know it's said many a time, but it's true. It's a real gift to be given a Guernsey on TV anyway. But then when you're working with a really close friend and a colleague and you admire their work as much as what they admire yours, the feeling is palpable. And for me and Robin, we always help each other out with lines and auditions, even if we're going for the same thing. If we're really going for something the same, we stay away because you don't want to see each other's interpretation. But we've always been supportive in that way. And a lot of it's now happening in Sydney a lot more now, but in Melbourne, we've always been like that. We've always been, pitch in and help. I remember Anne Phelan and me going for Chicago and ringing each other up, like, what are you doing for the audition? Well, I'm doing this. Right, well, I'll do that. And do you have the score for this? Yeah, I've got one in my book somewhere. You know what I mean? We celebrate everybody. And I'm happy when people get the role maybe you went for. What's worse is when somebody gets it and you just think, oh, really? That's the way you went? Okay, so be it. But that doesn't happen very often. But yeah, we're blessed.
Now, obviously, you mentioned it there, getting to be a part of that kind of final scene and the way that the show got wrapped up in the end, it was left very open-ended. There's possibilities of kind of things happening in the future. The one that maybe didn't hasn't really been mentioned, but I think would be a great spin-off would be an Irene Rising spin-off. I mean, would if that came about, would you do it?
Oh, absolutely, hands down. I think I know I might have mentioned this in an interview before, but when Rebecca they sent the scripts to her about her being the head of Arini Rising, it was like, oh, where's this going to go? But it's just opened up the floodgates, and it's a voice that needs to be spoken about because we've got a lot of actors of that vintage, and that's what Jason wanted to do the nod for, and he did it so well. And you get to speak for what we're all going through. Like we're all dealing with rather putting our loved ones into care, or what is care now and home care. And it's okay to say, oh, let's stay at home. But like you would know in England, and especially in the NHS, you know, being home, you still fall through the gaps. So yeah, I'd do a spin-off of her any day. And I think now we know it would work. Yeah.
I mean, the other great thing as well is it would open up the gates for a wealth of not just new talent to come in, sort of actors that have, been doing amazing stuff, forever, but also you would be able to bring back a lot of older cast members who maybe haven't been in the show for a while, like what they did with Gino, bringing those kind of characters back into the show, and it not just being a kind of a oh well, so and so's shown up but hasn't really got anything to do. You could really kind of get the characters involved, and I think it would work so well.
Yeah, I agree. But it's trying to get into the heads of executive producers and all of that on any scale to actually think like that. And unfortunately, sometimes you're dealing with people that are in their 30s, maybe late 30s, but haven't got there yet. But I can let you know now, being in my sixth decade, from your third decade to your sixth decade happens so very bloody quickly. When you look back on what you've done in life, you can see the 30 years and enormity, but we're only here for a very short time. And I know you hear that, but bloody hell, it comes screaming at you in your 60s because you just go, well, what happened? What happened to that 30 years? Because fundamental years. So we need to get into that headspace of having the voice for that age group. England does it so well. If you are odd looking, you've got wrinkles galore, you've got a funny face, you've got a smashed in face, whatever your face is, English celebrate it. And they always have. And we're starting to do that much more now in Australia. And it's starting to sneak in a little bit in America or Hollywood, but still not there, you know.
I
You've got
mean,
to have a
is there any, and obviously, Neighbours has had a wealth of cast over the years and everything. Were there people that you would have loved to have seen come into the show, whether it be maybe not someone who's necessarily been in it before, but actors that you think would have been amazing in the show, or anyone from its history that you would have loved to have worked with?
Oh, yeah, I would have loved to work with Ian more. I only had a little skimpy moment with Ian. I would have loved to have worked with him, and I would have loved to have had a moment with Mangles. You know, who who played that. And I think there's a lot of actors out there that would love to celebrate their time on a soap. But unfortunately, in this country, soap isn't celebrated. Soap's sort of, oh God, you're on that, are you? Where you're quite revered in England and Europe about it, and America do that as well. They really honour their soaps. And this is what Soapbox was about, that we did the play reading for, which was very cleverly written. So that's something that has to be, most definitely will have legs. It's got to have legs because it speaks volumes. It's contemporary. It's funny. It's got pathos. And I think especially England would love it, you know.
Now, I mean, we will talk about that in just a moment because I was speaking to Lucinda Cowden the other week about it, and it just sounds amazing. But before we do, I just wanted to kind of go to that sort of final sort of week or so when you were filming for Neighbours, and what was the atmosphere like amongst the cast, and also were you happy with where the show left off? Did you think it was a sort of a nice place to leave it for the time being?
On that question, I thought they did well. Like, how do you find another ending of a show 2 years after you found the biggest ending, you know? And I thought it was very clever how they left it because it could go three ways, possibly two ways stronger than one way. So they were very clever with that. It also allows time for spin-offs if need be and everything like that. As far as feeling goes, it was a different feeling this time. Last time we were all in absolute shock. We were gutted. Like we had been sideswiped and we didn't know the future. And then, of course, when we came back, it came back with so many great aspects and it looked better. And I'm not just saying that because I was in it, because I can be quite hard to please on that stuff. And I thought Erinsborough now wasn't like a hick little town. It was a metropolis. It had movement. It had colour. The way they shot it, the way they looked. I thought it was really good. They didn't hover on scripts for ages and ages and ages and storylines. And I thought it was in a really great place. So when we got told that this was ending, it was a different feeling because people just went, oh, well, this is it. But you never know. So you always leave that optimism there, but we don't know. And it's tragic. It's like, take us as actors out of it. The fact that we have lost the biggest training ground in Australia. Absolutely the biggest one we've ever had. And now we're feeling it. Now everybody's starting to feel we've lost it because it's not shown on the television anymore. And yeah, but we have lost that training ground, and that's what's been felt now in the industry more than anything.
And I think the other thing as well that's kind of quite tough and harder for people to accept is that it wasn't like it was a show that was doing really badly in the ratings, and it wasn't a show that just wasn't hitting the mark. It was actually, I would say, at the top of its game when it got, the axe this time around. And it wasn't to do with popularity because the fans were still there. It was purely just unlucky that the way it was funded was very heavily reliant on the UK and or sort of an outside broadcaster, and just the way I think that the landscape of TV is now, it just wasn't. I get the impression it wasn't really. People were looking more at which obviously you would, looking more at the financial side of things, but it was still hugely popular, and that's kind of, I would say, another of the real shames.
Yes, I agree with you. And it's not always about money. It's about the fact, and especially in this world, and especially with your audience and what they're dealing with, whether you're a healthcare worker or patients, that's scary to have anything like that happen to you or any ailment that you weren't even considering in your life, but you're dealing with. And then we've got a world that is so unpredictable and so volatile at the moment. We don't have full stops to the week anymore. We don't stop at all. We're going at such a fast pace. The one thing about soaps is it transports you into a never, never land, which we all need. And we all need that escapism. We all need to know that, yes, on Neighbours, if you're wrong to your neighbour, you will get your upcomings. And people need that. They need that feed in their life. And that's the difference in England is you guys all know that. And in Australia, it's kind of like, yes, we sneakily do that. We sneakily watch Home and Away or Neighbours and that, but we don't say it because that's bad. I don't understand that. I just don't understand it at all. And I think it is a shame, and money. It's sad that Neighbours was never owned by the network right from the beginning, where that's what happened with Home and Away. It's owned by the network, and as long as Channel 7 exists, Home and Away has to exist. That was part of that contract. Whoever made that contract, smart cookie, smart. And also, um, Home and Away put it on at the right time, which is evening. You don't bury it here at 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. Who's going to watch it? Everywhere else they watch it, so it's frustrating. It's really frustrating, but it's not for the want of trying. And we've now got a WhatsApp group where we all keep up to date with each other, which is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing.
I was going to say it was really nice as well to see you the other day pop up on Bin Night, which is the new podcast that Takaya Honda and Matthew Wilson have started up. And I think that's something that the fans are really enjoying is, getting to still see their favorite neighbors, on the podcast. I mean, you must have loved getting to go and chat to them again. And I mean, have you been watching some of their other episodes as well?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I watched Lucinda's and I'm halfway through Beautiful Magella, and Ben's is on tonight. It's a great concept. The only trap with them two is because you know them so well, your guard's down. So you could just continue. Like our interview went for over 2 hours because we were just laughing and they were asking so many questions. But that again, like this, Matthew, is until you sit down with somebody and start asking. We learn more about each other on that interview than what we do, and we've worked together for so long. Like we know snippets of each other's life, but you're in work mode, aren't you? You don't catch up with people that way. So I think it's proven, yeah, people like to hear different things from the people that they follow.
And I think as well, the other thing that the audience quite enjoy is because we know a lot of the characters that you guys play, but we don't necessarily get to know much about the actors behind the characters. And I think when you're being interviewed by someone who you do know quite well, like you said, not saying your guard is down and you just give everything away, but you do open up a bit more, I think, when you're talking to someone you trust. I think the fans love getting just to know a little bit about the actor behind the character.
I think it's important to. Because there's nothing worse than admiring somebody than you meet them in person and they're a tosser. I mean, so that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a real letdown. Um, and I treat people how I find them. It's like people on the social media. I got told once very early on, if you get trolled or somebody's nasty, you just leave them there. Don't upset them. And oh, get stuffed. If anybody's horrible, I'm not interested. I don't want to know about their stuff. I don't want to know that you're jealous of that fan because they don't put people down. It's very hard. And in this day and age, we can sit alone in our seclusion and type whatever we like and not be there to see the response of whatever you type. That's where the bullying starts, and I think it's better. No, go. I'm not interested.
Like
You
you
know,
say,
it's important to know people, I think.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, also, if you've got nothing, nice to say, don't say anything at all, is what I was always told. Kindness is the best. It's what we want. Now, obviously, we did talk a bit about Unboxed, which is the latest project you've been working on. We did hear
Soapbox. Yeah.
Soapbox. So yeah, we did hear from Lucinda Cowden a bit about it. But how did you become involved? You must love this project. Tell us a little bit about it from your side.
Oh, I was delighted. Lucinda rang me. We're good mates. And she said, look, I've got this idea. Da, da, da. Well, as soon as she said, I've got this idea and what it was about, I was already hooked. But you got to wait for your script to come through. And soon as it came through and I saw the character, I just wanted to do it because the character's based on quite a few different characters through soaps, bits of this and bits of that, and funny as. So I was just delighted. And then when I found out that Ryan was involved and Takaya, and then we met John for the first time, John Voss, and what a great guy that he is. What a talent. You could just sit there listening to him read the phone book. He's amazing. And then Martine, she was gorgeous. And then meeting Megan. Now there's an interesting thing. Working all that time on Neighbours, and I've spotted Megan about once. Didn't know who she was, but she's one of our head writers. But that's how big the metropolis of Neighbours was. But yeah, we're delighted. And the response from the first reading, and we were all nervous. We only had 2 rehearsals, and it's a reading where you're reading off the script, which everybody goes, oh, that's easier. Well, it's easy for some, it's not easy for others. If you've got dyslexia or neurodiverse, then that's your worst nightmare. But anyway, we all got through it. It was amazing, and the feedback was fantastic. So we're, well, as Kerry Armstrong stood up and said, stop saying if, or if this gets up. You wouldn't say that about your child. You wouldn't say, oh, this could possibly be my child. You go, this is my child. This is what it. So we're taking her words of wisdom on board, and he's hoping,
And it
you
must
know.
have been such a nice honor to have been asked to be a part of this. I mean, that must be nice when you know that people really respect your work and people want to work with you again. That must be a lovely feeling.
It is. It really warms the cockles of your heart. And also you just go, people are thinking, when you're down, at the moment, people think, oh, you're on a real high, you're doing this, you're doing that, but I've got no work. I'm a working actor, no work, waiting for this phone to ring. And when you, like Carol, that I just did for the Black Swan State Theatre Company, to realize that Andrea had been writing that piece with me in mind for the last 18 months. She had the idea, but it's only in the last 18 months she was really hoping I would do it. And you've got no idea that that's happening and resonating in the world. So whenever I feel down or anxious or, oh my God, I always think, I put it out to the universe. What's happening? Who's thinking about me? What's happening out there? But like trust in the universe in that way. It's hard. It's hard when you've got to pay bills, but you know, it's you're up and down like that as an actor. And it doesn't get easier the older you get.
Now, obviously, when I spoke to Lucinda, she did talk about, she would love to bring the play over to the UK and that it would be perfect for the UK audience. Would you come over as well? Is that something you'd want to do?
Oh, try to stop me. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think for us to get a little, even if it was just in a workshop form, like a little production of it, like let's frame it up here and then let's get on to England and do it. Because if it's well received there, then we can come back here and then they'll go, oh, England liked it, you know. But yeah, I think England would eat it up, and it's a really important like take Neighbours, take soap out of it. The AI stuff is a very, very important thing we should start talking about. We need to, because every day we're inundated with bullshit that we honestly, I just now go, everything is AI, not unless I prove otherwise.
Although
I
this is
don't know.
this is genuinely real. We're both
This is
actually here.
genuinely real. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how you prove. I've got 5 fingers.
Yeah, there's
Well,
none
I've got
missing.
4 fingers and 2 thumbs. Um, yeah, but you just don't know, do you? And this is why people are so scammed, and it's a scary world at the moment, isn't it, for
Mm.
people?
I was going to say you have to be so careful. Now, obviously, outside of all of those projects, you must be looking forward to just what the future holds. I mean, as an actor, that must be daunting, but also quite exciting because you never know what's around the corner. And I mean, is there still like a dream role? Is there something you would love to do going forward? What would that be?
Oh, there's lots of dream roles I'd love to do. In musical theatre, I'd love to give Mama Morton a crack. I'd love to have a go at her. As far as films, I would just love to do more and more film. Bring it on, bring it on. I'd love to have a Jackie Weaver moment in my sixth decade where you get a big one. What I still find hard, and I think the older you get, the harder it is living from mouth to mouth on these times where there's nothing. And yes, I now can go out. I've got a little project, a little pilot. I can't talk about the actual substance of it, but doing that. And we all want to do that. And we're all going to do this little pilot, but we're going to do it on a shoestring. We'll be lucky to make our petrol money back, but we do it because if it gets off the ground, then and we do that all the time. So that type of anxiousness about money all the time still it's terrible for you. Well, I find it still now. You just go, and you do have to trust a lot, and things do work out, but you just think, oh, come on, bit easier. And people say, well, go and get another job. Well, that's not easy either. I'm a nurse. I can't go into a lot of nursing these days. Who wants to do that, you know? So you juggle. That's why I do so many different things. You've got to juggle,
I
you
think
know.
as well as because obviously you talk about your nursing as well, and I mean that just comes from you're a kind person as well. That is a big part of it. I mean, obviously we're broadcasting to patients in hospital and to NHS staff. I mean, what's the kind of the one bit of advice that you would anyone out there who's maybe not having the best of times, what sort of words of advice would you give to kind of help them out and to put people in a better sort of frame of mind?
You've got to just, I've said this before, it depends what you're dealing with. If it's something so horrific, you know what's going to happen to you or that, it's better to stay in the moment, make a cup of tea, ring friends, do your painting and all of that. But if staying in the moment makes you anxious because it's not moving, then you've got to dream. You've got to dream, and your mind is the most powerful tool. And I learnt that very young as a nurse. Have I mentioned this before?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I learnt it very quickly on how somebody in fear can turn their health around and 3 days later die because of fear. And yet, if they took an alternative thing, they would be still alive today. That's when I realized the power of the mind. So I think you've just got to, you know, distract either way with your brain. And as far as healthcare workers, sometimes when it's fucking crap and hard and that, it's okay to walk off the ward, just get out to the fresh air and take a break because we as healthcare workers feel we've got to, and we're on the rat wheel and we're trying to help. We can't leave that patient there. We can't leave, and we burn out ourselves. So I think it's okay to have a crap day and it's okay to walk away and just take that 15, 20-minute break because you need it, you know? It's hard.
Now, I mean, Sally, as ever, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always a joy to get to speak to you. Thank you again for giving up your time to talk to me.
Oh,
Um,
anytime, Matthew. I love it.
yeah, we'll
Love
definitely get you back on. But yeah, and fingers crossed. We never know, but hopefully some form of Neighbours comes back at some way somehow. We would love that, and I know that you guys would as well. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But thank you again.
No worries. And everybody have a good time. Now, it was Mother's Day on Sunday, wasn't it?
Mm.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, or anybody that's got a mother that's a bit hard to deal with. just, it's okay. It's okay.